I've always loved the idea of a cruise, going to exotic places in a comfortable ship. Well, I've joined the Saga Rose for the last 2 weeks of her fantastic 114-day journey around the world.
And over the next 8 programmes, I'll be visiting some wonderful places, including the rose-red city of Petra and Amman, the capital of Jordan. After that, the ship crosses the Red Sea to Egypt, where I'll be visiting Luxor, having a trip in a felucca, painting the pyramids and travelling through the Suez Canal. Then the ship takes us to Ashdod, on the coast of Israel, for a trip to Jerusalem. After a couple of days at sea, crossing the Mediterranean, we call into Messina on the island of Sicily before reaching our final destination, Seville.
But our first port of call is Aqaba on the Jordanian coast. And we're sailing north up the Red Sea and are due to arrive in Aqaba tomorrow morning. I'm travelling from Aqaba to Petra, and these mountains are the ones that go all the way down into the sea at Aqaba. When we get through the mountains, it levels off into flat desert nearly all the way through to Petra. Petra is more than likely the most famous tourist attraction in Jordan, and you'll see why in a minute. And to get to the centre of this fantastic city, you've got to go through a very narrow gorge, which is only 2 or 3 metres wide. Originally, an arch stood at the entrance of this natural gorge, which is known as the Seek. It's roughly 1.5 kilometres long and is the main route into the city. Originally it was paved and a water channel was carved into the rock all the way down one side. The cliffs on either side tower above you up to 100 metres, making the journey through the Seek dramatic and exciting. As you approach the end, the gorge seems to get narrower, giving you a tantalising glimpse of what you're about to see. This is fantastic. This is known as the Treasury. And it's incredible. It's all carved out of stone, out of solid rock. And it must have taken them years to do this. But and for me, it would take me years, I think, to sit down and paint it, because there's so much to do to it, to do it justice. And I haven't got the time for that. And there's so much to see. So I'm going to wander around and have a look for something else to sketch. The treasury was in fact a tomb, but its name derives from the presence of the urn at the top of the building, which was said to contain the treasure from the pharaoh at the time of the Exodus. No one is certain for whom the tomb was built, but one possibility is Harith III, a great Nabatean ruler who died in 56 BC. Just beyond the treasury, the gorge of the Seek continues for another 300 yards or so, leading towards the centre of the ancient city. Each side is lined with tombs carved into the rock. The gorge gradually becomes wider and opens out into the street of facades, and further in the distance, the amphitheatre. Almost all of the structures that you see in Petra are burial places, and there are 40 tombs along the street of facades, built on 4 levels. The amphitheatre could seat 7,000 people. It was built in the 1st century AD and incredibly was carved out of the sandstone. I've just come down from the treasury and I found the place to sketch. I'm going to sketch part of the Seek, which joins the treasury to where I'm standing here. Right, here we are. Now, there's one big problem with a sketch like this. It's so vast that you've got to make sure that you get it in, or otherwise you're in trouble and you'll lose the scale, and obviously you'll go straight out of the pad where you don't want to do that. I'm quite happy with that line down there. All I'm doing, I'm following shapes at this stage, and there's the path that comes down. I'm just trying to get an idea of scale here on the pad. It really goes narrow up here and then comes out. and in. Now this is where I've got to be careful, or otherwise I'll start to get too detailed and find that I'm running way up the picture and the scale will be too big for the line that I've drawn on that side. Now, before I put any shading in or anything, any detail, I do want to put people, and they're all roughly about head height there. So all I'm going to do is just put their heads. Obviously they're getting smaller as they go away. There's all sorts, every height, shape, size, nationality. It's amazing the amount of people there are. This is why, of course, it's one of Jordan's most famous tourist spots. Believe me, it is really full of people when you come here. But I've just missed a couple of donkeys. I see I'm waiting for the camels. I'll leave a space there for the camels, I think. And of course there's people in their national dress wandering about. Somebody just decided to say hello to me. And here we go, a few more. Now, that shows the scale of the whole place. Right, let's... Oh, I like this person. This rock down here, there's someone in local dress sitting there on a rock. He's moved. Just had another camel come down, and I hope just got a bit of him in there. Didn't get as far as the legs, but we'll leave him there for the time being. I can always, if another one comes down, I can add something to him. So the path is coming all the way down here with stones and rocks. He looks a bit small there, but he was a small chap. Right, now I'll put a bit of shading in this now. The darkest area, look for the darkest area. The darkest area is this shape down here. So let's start with that. Whoops, just drawn all over my trousers. Let's start with that, and this broad pencil, this wide nib, thick nib, is very helpful for this because it gets it in quickly. Now there are fissures and shapes and light areas, dark areas, all the way down here. I'll put some colour on this, but this is helping because it's so dark. With the watercolour, I'd have to put quite a few different washes on it to get it really dark. And so doing this gets a base for it, and tonally I know which way I'm going. It's also quicker then to put the watercolour on because the pencil is showing through the watercolour, because of course watercolour is transparent, and so you're not mixing a lot of washes all the time. There's all these people. Oh, I mustn't cover obviously shading any of these areas here where we've got the people. Right, we've got this done down to here. That will, then we get the bottom there where the sand is coming out and a few rocks and things. We've got sunlight on this, so I'm not going to put much shadow on it, just in places, just to give a little bit of form and shape. That's a rock that you can see coming round it. We've put the shadow on the right hand side, and then we've got this rock coming round. There's one or two sort of fissures and odd shapes naturally in this rock, but again, if I put too much shading in, then it's going to get it too dark for to show the contrast with this one. Now that's a nice shape that comes round there. I'm leaving this area in here light so we can get that the lightest part. We've got people actually go even higher than this. We've got them up there as well, so let's suggest them. And shade that in. And these funny straight lines running down there. And then it seems to drop in there and go behind. And this area here is where you actually go through. And this is called the Seek, this path through here. And this is the one that goes up to the Treasury. Bit of dark there. And now this is a dark, nice dark shape again. Against this lighter edge. And now we're getting this lovely sort of feeling of going through this like gorge. This gets a little lighter here. One or two features on it. I was going to add colour to this, but quite frankly, I'm happy with it now, because what I really wanted was the drama, and in black and white, it still does it. I mean, it comes all the way down here, and you've got the depth of tone, and it comes down to show these people right in the distance, and it really does give that drama, and this is what I was after, that big, empty space that goes all the way through. I'm happy with that. Petra is known as the Rose Red City. You can see why. Just look at the colour of that sand. But Petra is also known for other coloured sands. And 100 yards or so beyond where I did the sketch, local Bedouins use these gorgeous coloured sands to create pictures in bottles. It's a very intricate process, and although they may be touristy souvenirs, everyone is different, and in my opinion, everyone's a work of art. Well, you can see where they get their inspiration from. The colours are fantastic. And behind the rock is a tomb, and that's what I've decided to sketch next. Now, the most important thing with sketching here is scale, because everything is so vast, and you've got to try and make it, well, appear vast. And it means that you're really drawing smaller than perhaps you normally would for any subject. But it's got to be relative to what's next to it. And this tomb that I'm drawing is halfway up this cliffside, and it when you see people against it, it looks so massive. And this is what I'm hoping to try and achieve. In fact, I've just seen someone standing up there. Now, someone standing up there is that size, and there's another person there. Always put people in when you see them, just in case when you want them they're not there. Then there's a window or a doorway. It looks more like a window up here, and we've got a couple up here, so I shall just put them in nice and dark. That one is not boarded up, it looks as though it's stoned up. Got a big stone in there, and another one here, window. And we've got what looks like bricks, well, obviously great big stones going across there. In fact, all that wall is big stone. And it comes finishes here, and then it looks like just slab stone, and there's a big monster stone going through up here. This is a very local stone, of course, right in front of me, and it's really going all over. Right, now I think that's where I ought to paint it, or otherwise I'll go on and on. So I think I'll put some colour on that now. The Nabateans came to Petra in the 6th century BC and made it their capital. The word Petra actually means stone in ancient Greek. Terrible earthquakes in the 4th and 8th centuries effectively cut Petra off from the west, and this whole area was jealously guarded by the Bedouin tribe that lived among the ruins, right up until the mid-1980s. Now, colour. Well, with all this wealth of delicate colours about, I think what I'll do, I'm going to mix one main colour for most of it, and that will be a yellow oak with a little touch of crimson, just to give that pinkness, that pink colour. I think that should just about do for the main one now. I'm going to put a little bit of pink up here, or crimson, just in case I need to add a bit more, but not too strong. And then I think we'll have a go and see what happens. Right, here we go. Now it could be a little yellower than that, so a bit more yellow ochre. Oh, it's gone a bit strong, I think, but never mind, just get, yes, that's a bit strong, but that doesn't matter, we've got plenty of time to sort it out. A bit more red in there. It's changing colour, of course, all the time, is this. And if we keep changing as we go down, it will all molt together as we add colour into colour, and that's the effect we want to get. A bit whiter down there, that's it. Now I got that whiter, or lighter if you like, by just simply pressing on the brush, and it will get a little bit of blue in there. I've just seen it just goes a bit sort of darker in there, that sort of nice, I don't know what colour it is, it's an off colour, but it's a very nice colour, and it's over there as well. There's quite a bit of that colour about. It's amazing how many colours there are in here, but they're all very, very subtle. We mustn't forget that. If we start to really try to get every colour in that we see, it just wouldn't work. So you've got to go for this overall colour. And you can now see all these colours that are in the stone. When you start to paint it, you can really get them in there, and they really are stunning colours. But again, as I say, they're all pretty subtle. Now, I want to put a bit of modelling into the building with just adding a few shadows. Now remember, I said watch for shadows when the sun's out and put them in if they're there, and put them in pencil, which I did. But I also have been looking while the sun has been there, and there's been more shadows, of course, cast, and these I'm putting in now. It's a pinky mix rather than a bluey mix because of it being warm stone. And really, in a way, at the moment, all I'm doing is going over the shadows that I'd already drawn. Just put a few lines of the rock in there with this pink. Actually, that's rather nice. That, oh, we've got this actually is darker in here all the way down. That's better, that stands out more now. And this is also darker, although I put the shadow and it's darker all the way round. That's it. And we've got some sort of marks and mess in these areas. We'll just put a bit of work in them there. Then we've got this piece here, little bits and pieces. A few marks around here for the rock. Show the rock coming down. It's got some nice long pieces there. And a shadow there. In there. There. Now I'm just going to add a little colour down on this bottom area because this is a bit more yellow than the area above. It just helps that go back from this piece here. And then we've just got one or two darker areas down here. And a couple of coloured blotches up here for the people. A couple of blobs of blue there, and perhaps one up into the in the tomb up here. This person up here, just put a little bit of colour there, a little bit of dark. And then I think that is it, and I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm happy with the tomb, and it will certainly remind me of Petra. That was a fantastic day in Petra, bit hectic, but even so I managed to get some sketching done. And the first one, of course, the Sikh with that long walk down. The most important part about this sketch was the fact that I wanted these two areas dark, so they came down here into the gorge, and you could go all the way through into other rock, but you went for such a long way. Look at the amount of people that came down. And of course, there was the camel that didn't really come in the right place, unfortunately, and I waited, but never mind. You have to take what's there when you're working outside. At least I got him in just when he was walking out. And then, if you remember, the last one that I did was the last one that I did of the tomb. And of course the tomb cut out of solid rock. I mean, that was an impressive thing to paint anyway, or to sketch. And then all the coloured rocks in front of it, and this set the scene for all that. And there was a lot of thought gone into that before I actually started work, just to make sure I got it onto the sketching page. But I enjoyed doing that. That was great. Anyway, it's been a marvellous day, and what a way to start a cruise. And in the next programme, I'll be visiting Amman and painting a spice market, a mosque and a Roman temple, and trying out some Jordanian fast food. I hope you'll join me.